What's up, everybody? You got Alan here with the Constitutional Press. Hey, I know the video on this one's going to be a little bit shaky, and I'm going to apologize in advance for that. I was trying a different camera. I didn't have my boomstick with me. I didn't have anything with me. This was an impromptu stop. As you can see, it is a traffic stop. So I wasn't really planning on filming that night. But, hey, when the call comes, the call comes. So, a little bit of backstory. There was a small fender bender located on the highway on 931 and Boulevard Street here in Kokomo. And in that, there was the secondary vehicle, which was the one who rear-ended the first one. Army veteran plate, which is why I picked this theme song for this particular one. So I only felt it fitting, being an Army veteran myself, to go ahead and use this particular sound clip. So you'll see here in a minute, it's not even that far into it, actually. The gentleman is standing at the back of the car. You know, I don't think the audio is going to be all that well because it was exceptionally windy, but I will be the first to tell you I was able to still hear. The gentleman in question, they did give a PBT. They did not disclose on the radio how much that was because I was listening to the scanner as soon as I parked. And I flipped it on just so I know what's going on. So they gave him a PBT test. When they got done with the PBT test, they was standing there having a cordial conversation with him. And then as soon as the gentleman said something to the effect of that he disagreed with the officer grabbed his wrist, fully whipped around, and slammed him straight on the trunk of his car. You will see that video. Again, I'm going to apologize. The video's shaky. It's windy. It's freezing cold. I had no gloves on. I was not prepared to record. But I grabbed the first camera I could find in my vehicle, and here we go. Let's go ahead and roll the clip. So you see what I'm saying right here. You see what I'm saying. He literally goes from standing there just having a good old conversation, nothing wrong. He didn't act in any sort of way out of shape. He wasn't being aggressive. He was standing there talking to them. Now, great, this is like about 10 minutes into the clip. I mean, they've already extracted it from his vehicle. This is 10 minutes into the clip. I'm not going to show you the whole 10 minutes of them just standing there and doing absolutely nothing because there's nothing to it. It was literally the guy bumped into the back of another vehicle. No problem. Did not object to a PBT. Nothing was wrong. And then all of a sudden, because this gentleman disagrees with an officer, the officer gets his hand or his wrist right on the back of the shoulder, leads him around, and then slams him. After a full spin circle, slams him on the trunk of that car. There was no reason for that. I am going to end up doing a FOIA request for that call log because I want to see what the officers that were on the scene were. It was one KPD officer, one county sheriff's deputy that was on that scene, and it was the KPD officer that went ahead and did that. At the end of the whole thing, he did have his car towed. Sutton's Towing actually came and towed the vehicle. And on top of that, you know, the passenger of that vehicle ended up getting a ride to the mall parking lot so he can wait for a ride to come pick him up in the sheriff's cruiser while KPD went ahead and took him out of jail. This is a classic reason of why we are out there filming. Okay? There was no justifiable reason for them to slam this man against the trunk of his car. None at all. The passenger wasn't acting aggressive. The driver wasn't acting aggressive. And even if the driver was over the legal limit, which I do not condone drinking and driving at all. I don't drink, so, you know, it's not that I'm against alcohol. It's just I know what it does to people, and I don't want to partake in that. So There was no justifiable reason for this officer to slam this gentleman against the trunk of his car with that much force like that, and then forcibly arrest him and throw him in the back of his cruiser and haul him to jail. You know, it's a lot of it's about context, and I agree. Context is king in situations, especially police interactions. But even with the context that you can visibly see leading up to his arrest, yeah, he had a disagreement with the officer. Well, I don't think you should have went ahead and pulled me over, or what, not even pulled me over, whatever. There was no damage to either vehicle. It was literally a bump. There was zero damage. In fact, the other vehicle was allowed to drive off. Other vehicle didn't get no insurance information. He just drove off. You know, the officer went ahead and said, hey, do you want to go ahead and get a report, whatever? No, he just left. There was no damage at all. So that being said, again, this is why we're out there filming. This is why we're keeping the police departments accountable. This is what we need to do. I urge everybody, grab a camera, follow a police officer. I don't care. It's not illegal. As long as you're not meaning anything nefarious and you don't have any ill will or ill intent, don't have a weapon on you, anything to that extent. Now, granted, I am a individual who does have a CCW permit, and I do carry a firearm at all times. But if I'm filming, guess what? I take my firearm off and I put it next to my seat, because I'm not going to be out there filming the police with a loaded firearm on my side. That's the last thing I need to deal with. So just save yourself the headache. No, it's not illegal to do so with a firearm on your side. It's just creating a headache for you. Don't do it, just out of common sense. But don't be afraid to film the police. County, local, state, federal, doesn't matter. Film your federal officers. Film your state officers, your local officers, your county officers. Do not let them get away with things like this. Hold them accountable. Follow our Facebook page, Constitutional Press on Facebook. We also have a story on there that actually was from a couple days ago with a gentleman who was allegedly trying to commit suicide by cop. Excellent read. Definitely go on there. Check out the pictures. We don't upload those to our YouTube channel just because they're pictures. There's not video. But definitely check that out. And, you know, follow us on there as well. Follow us on our social media, Facebook, and, of course, here on YouTube. And let's keep these guys accountable. I'm not saying all officers are bad. I'm not anti-officer or anti-police in any way. I am a former military police officer in the United States Army. I know what to look for. I know what the standards are. That's why I chose that particular avenue for audits. Police accountability. Don't let them force you around. Don't let them ID you unless you've committed a crime or are suspected of actively committing a crime or has committed a crime. Okay? You don't have to show ID. Look up your local laws. Look up your local regulations. Follow your ordinances. Follow the law. But make sure they do as well. In the meantime, between time, it's down with the Constitutional Press. I'm out.